Hello, good morning.
Who says good morning to whom?
How are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You're looking all colourful this morning, Mapitso.
Thank you very much.
Or should I call you Ben?
Yes, I'm looking,
Mapitso.
yeah.
And today your bracelet thingy, your cord thingy, your eye thingy is matching the upper part of your...
My dress.
Yeah.
I see.
Who sews for you?
I've got two seamstresses. I don't know their names. I forgot. What's her name? Oh, gosh. But one is Auntie Evelyn. She's just here in Kokomemle.
Okay.
Her store is
Shouts
by,
to Aunt Evelyn.
Yeah, Auntie Evelyn by, what's that food place? Top Taste.
Okay.
So she's by Top Taste, Auntie Evelyn. And then Arisa Couture, and she's in Jolu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this jacket is somewhere from Italy, but I can't vouch for it. Yeah.
We are pushing Made in Ghana, Made in Ghana. You are telling us about Italy.
You know, I'm an African print person, but because of the texture of the show, we must do the formal bit.
You see, so that's where I disagree. Because of the texture of the show, what does that mean?
You disagree?
No, what does that mean? Does that mean that African print is not fit enough to be on a formal show?
It's not fit enough to be on a formal show. Have you seen me on Fridays rocking jackets with African print?
I'm asking you a question. So what does it mean?
When you say the texture and what we, you know, TV is all look and feel, right?
Please what?
TV. Look, feel, context, show, and what we want to put out there. So
you're trying to...
It's a choice. It's a choice to do this rather than...
So it's a deliberate choice
options.
to sideline African print?
No,
because
definitely
you're saying
not.
that African print doesn't suit the style of the show.
You're an African prince, aren't you?
I'm an African print, but I have been told not to wear it. I've been given feedback that it is not part of the show.
Anyway, so
because there's a
I get to do this. I get to do this Monday to Thursday, and on Friday I segue, I weave into African prints. And don't you love my Friday African prints? You love them, don't you?
You are,
and you want to do them. You want to do them the whole week? Yeah.
No, why not?
Anyway, it's a conversation we could have even in the public sector. They would usually do this on Fridays. I don't know what Dr. Sasanti thinks. He actually joins the conversation. He is head of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana. Doc, a very good morning to you. Do we have Dr. Sasanti joining the conversation?
Right here. I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning,
Great.
Doc.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah.
This conversation, it's an interesting note. We didn't plan this, but I know in the Nkrumah era, there was all of this nationalistic feel, which by and large, I think has been lost, and donning our own and everything. But even in the public sector, you would realize that we're restricted to Fridays. Do you think there should be a paradigm shift in that regard?
Oh, certainly. That idea actually was mooted by Mr. Kwesi Oseji, and then, Mr. Alan Chamating crown it all. I would have thought that we would continue and then move it from a day to two or more, or why not even the whole week? I am an unrepented African. You remember in class, I always put on my smock and my African print, and I'm in forever. The reason being that nobody will patronize our commodities. We have to do and show the example in the world. Any conference I attended around the world, I'm always in my smock. Take it or leave it. So I believe that we can showcase this and make it part and parcel of the things that we do here so that our industries can become attractive, develop, and create employment for our people. We need that than always relying on foreign, goods and all that come to destroy our cottage industries.
Interesting points, Mapitso. And maybe right before we get in, it's also been pretty wet this month of September. It's been rain back to back. Was it yesterday you were engaging the meteorologist?
Yeah, Joshua Samoa, senior forecaster. And we're expecting more rains this week and into next week. So prepare accordingly. Your party plans for this week. If you have a party, a wedding, make sure that you have a plan B to have a venue that is an indoor venue. So more rains, more floods, we will do something about the floods.
The way you easily say more rains, more floods. Almost as though you had given up on the system, knowing that the rain will come with the floods, and with the floods, devastation.
Yeah, and like at this moment, like there's nothing. In fact, it's not that there's nothing we can do, but like I'm honestly, personally, I'm tired of talking. Every year, we will do something, or NATBoG rushes with some sort of rescue items and all of that every single year, and then the president or whoever will come and tell us that, oh, we're working on it, we'll drain this river, we'll do this, we'll do that. Charlie, they should continue doing it.
Doc, right before we get into the papers, the rains are still with us this month of September. It appears every morning now it rains, and you know what that leads to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an age-old problem. I think all of us have become a bit inured or tired of discussing it. Are we ever going to get out of this, do you feel?
No, we are not ready. We have seen this time and again. What stories haven't we done? When I was a journalist, we wrote all stories. You people are continuing talking about it every day. When would it change? The least said about this, the better. Let's move on into other business. We are
anyway,
not ready.
I guess despondency has crept in. Let's check out some stories from the papers. We'll start with the Daily Graphic today. Gold firms begin sales to Bank of Ghana, 125,000 ounces expected in the last quarter. There's also land scarcity impedes Agenda 111 in Greater Accra. And there's MIAA empowers men to examine women for breast cancer. And Aisha Huang, others slapped with an additional 2-week custody. Let's check out some of those stories very quickly. And I'll do the one with in respect of the gold firms, and then the land scarcity and the breast cancer bit. So gold producing companies in the country have started selling gold to the Bank of Ghana under the Domestic Gold Purchase Program. The companies, which are members of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, will between now and December this year sell about 125,000 ounces of gold to the Bank of Ghana. Now, last year, the central bank announced that it would begin to hold parts of its reserves in gold as it sought to shore up its foreign reserves. The sale is expected to strengthen the cedi and halt the rising inflation. In all, there are 10 mining companies that will sell gold to the Bank of Ghana under the deal. The firms are Newmont Ghana Gold, which operates the Achim and Ahafo mines, Gold Fields, which operates the Takwa and Abosso mines, Anglo Gold Ashanti, Obuase, Anglo Gold Ashanti, Iduaprim, Perseus, Asanko, Golden Star, Wassa, and Ademus Gold Services. The central bank will buy the gold and cedis at $1,600 per ounce at the Bloomberg exchange rate of 10.3 Ghana cedis to the dollar. And so that is in consonance with what we were told by the Bank of Ghana to start, shoring up our economy by purchasing gold like the Americans have it in Fort Knox, So the monetary value of gold, keep it there. Try to use that to also be a benchmark and give some stability to our economy. I'll come back to you briefly, Doc. I just want to bring up the other stories and then you can react to them. Let's go to page 13. 2 of those stories are actually there. So the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Quartey, has expressed dissatisfaction at the slow pace of work on the Agenda 111 hospital projects in the region. He attributed the situation to the unavailability of land in most of the assemblies, while some of the available land was entangled in litigation. Last year, the government announced that it had secured $100 million, that is, for a starter fund through the Ghana Investment Infrastructure Fund for the commencement of an Agenda 111 district, specialized and regional hospitals across the country. Your take on these 2 stories. So gold firms have begun selling to the Bank of Ghana instead of simply shipping them out. And that is also in a bid to stabilize our economy. And then land scarcity. We've been told about Agenda 111. We've been told that these hospital facilities will be constructed. But then we find out that now there's no land even to do this. Quick reactions? Hello, Doc? We may have lost Dr. Asa Asante. Hello, Doc. Can you hear me? All right, we've lost Dr. Asa Asante. He'll come back. He'll join us.
He definitely will.
I hope the rains are not messing around with her. You know how it is. When it rains, it's not just electricity that could go off. Your internet could also be very sketchy or dodgy. But how do you react to this? Maybe the land scarcity bit. We were told this was going to, and now all of a sudden there's...
But it's so funny that there's an increase in apartment blocks. But you're saying that there's a land scarcity in terms of getting the hospitals. So it's just like so funny that you're giving private developers land to build these apartment blocks and restaurants and whatever, but the stuff that we need or the stuff that you promised, you can't provide.
But this could be land that already isn't government land or isn't land that government has gone for. You know, lots of individuals, the chieftaincy institutions, you know, the chiefs have their own pools of land, some of which, most of which people say are already gone. And then there are individuals with their land. I mean, government can't interfere with that unless they want to go a-buying. You get it? Yeah. But in this instance, I'm just asking myself, so if we said we're going to construct the hospitals, 111 of them, and we hadn't even mapped out where we were going to, that's what comes to mind at this point in time. It's almost as though it were a knee-jerk reaction. We'll do it, and now all of a sudden we're trying to do it, and we realize there are impediments. Yeah. That's what I see there. Mapitso, let me wrap on this one. I think as for Aisha Huang and being slapped with another 2-week custody, we're already in the know on that one. But the MIAA empowering men to examine women for breast cancer now. Okay, that one is the story I want to get into.
Please, let's hear.
So a project that seeks to consciously empower men to fight against the rising cases of breast cancer in the country has been launched with a clarion call on men to join the fight against the deadly disease. Dubbed Men in Arms Against Breast Cancer Initiative, that's the MIAA. The project seeks to develop and demonstrate practical models that will improve early detection and treatment of breast cancer in women through the help of men. Okay. So a month-long series of activities for the initiative will start in October, which is the month set aside for awareness and the promotion of the detection of breast cancer. But this is what it means. Okay. So the MIAA, put together by 2 NGOs, is going to create awareness of the disease by building the capacity of 100,000 men across the country with skills in massaging the breast of their partners to promote the early detection of any irregularities in their breasts.
I also think...
What do you make of it?
Before I comment on that, I also think they should start a campaign where women will also detect...
Don't go there. Don't you even go there.
Oh, how?
I hope you're not going there.
Tit for tat.
Tit for tat.
Tit for tat.
No.
Tit for tat.
But, I mean, for those who are in that conjugal union, they would obviously, you know, have access to their partners. And I think it's only logical that...
It makes sense.
Whatever, once you are, you know, consummating, getting intimate with your partner, you also take note of...
such things.
What could be happening.
I think it's...
You don't just go on a wild...
It's a great move because... honestly speaking, as a woman, we hardly ever like touch and fondle our breasts. You understand? So if you have a partner, if you are married or in a very long-term relationship and you're obviously with your partner, I'm sure he can do that for you. Yeah. If you're married or a long-term
well, my producer, Derek Ekosan, definitely is married. I'm sure he will take this very seriously.
I'm sure he will.
I want to believe he will.
Yeah.
In fact, if he doesn't, I'll have to re-echo.
That's right.
And ensure that, you know...
He takes care of the breast.
And we'll have to inquire whether he's doing his job as usual. Did you follow the Black Stars match?
No, I didn't.
Okay, but so I didn't watch the one with Brazil, but I watched the one with Nicaragua.
And how?
It was a pretty, rather good performance. They dominated the entire game. The only problem, they didn't take their chances, and I feel there's still some rustiness in terms of the flow. You know, defense to midfield to attack, and I feel those are some parts of the machine that needs more oiling so that it can be, you know, more efficient. But apart from that, it wasn't a bad outing. We should have netted many more because Nicaragua is so many places, you know, beneath us. I think we're 60-something, and they are over 100, you know, on the FIFA rankings. So that is that. At least I watched it.
Okay, well, let's see. We're looking forward to the
Next,
World Cup.
we face Switzerland. I hear they are in the top 10. So
That's
we really
a
have...
hard one.
Because we met Brazil, which is number 1. And they thrashed us by 3-0. We met Nicaragua, which is a rather bottom side. Though they've largely improved, we pipped them by 1-0. Now we go back into the top 10. Let's see whether we can bamba with the big boys.
With the big boys. All right, let's go to the Republic Press now. And Baumia on Ghana's economy. Tough days ahead, but recovery is coming. Baumia on Ghana's economy says, tough days ahead, but recovery is coming.
He's re-echoing what the president has been saying. We just hope the recovery will come sooner.
Yeah, and then also on
later.
page 6, fans who booed Akufo-Addo at Global Citizen Festival lack home training. That's according to the NPP. And 16 drivers pay 24,000 Ghana cedis in fines for violating road regulations. Yesterday, I was driving around town, right? And Dampare's boys are
the police visibility team.
Visible.
Told ya.
They are like Charlie, every corner. So I got lost a bit, right? And I wanted to make a U-turn, but that U-turn is not.
It's not an official
It's
U-turn.
not an unofficial U-turn.
Right.
But as soon as I got to the traffic lights, I saw Dampere boys, and I was like, actually, no.
Oh, is that the new name for them now?
Oh, yeah.
Or you've given them the...
I'm giving them
So
that.
the DBs?
Yeah,
or the DBs?
Yeah, Dampere
boys.
Yeah. So I saw
what happens to
Dampere
the
boys.
girls? So DBG, Dampare
Dampere
boys and girls.
Yeah, Dampere boys and girls.
Yeah, man.
So I saw them at the traffic lights, and I was like, you know what, not today. Let me
Not today.
Let me just follow. And I had to take the long turn. So bigger shout out to Mr. Dampare. He's doing a very good job with this.
Doctor, actually.
Actually, doctor.
George
yeah, doctor.
Akufo Dampare.
He's doing a really, really good job. So 16 drivers paid 24,000 Ghana cedis in fines for violating road regulations. We'll read that. And you are sick. That is according to Koku Anyedoho, who fires Asedun Ketia, and Aisha Huang denied bail, and Kaswa toll booth abandoned weeks after crash. Let's go to page 4, where Baumia says tough days are ahead, but recovery is coming, and he's talking about the economy. And this is the Republic Press. Okay, so while visiting Kenya to end President Ruto's inauguration a few days ago, Vice President Baumia spoke about current global economic challenges and how Ghana is coping, okay? So he highlighted the benefits of the African Continental Free Trade Area, of which Ghana is the location of its secretariats, and how it will play a large part in Africa's continued economic growth. He continues to say that it is important that Africa trades by itself. We're very passionate about it, and there are a lot of opportunities and potential to realize. He mentioned this. So he also, when asked about the current economic situation facing Ghana, specifically with high levels of inflation, Baumia emphasized it is a problem affecting all global economies following the global pandemic and Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Okay, so what I've also noticed is that one thing about this government or this administration, when they're asked about a certain problem or the economy or whatever it is, even like, for example, the Global Festival Bruhaha,
right,
they always have someone to blame. So they never ever take full, what's this thing called, like accountability that, okay, yeah, that we've done A, B, and C, but it's always my predecessor, my previous, the NDC, COVID-19.
We never take responsibility. We're always passing the buck.
Yeah, okay, but let's go to page 6. You know, Liz Hayford yesterday said that it was disrespectful that the youth was booing at the president. So the NPP fans who booed Akufo-Addo at Global Citizen Festival lack home training. That's what they're saying, and that is the Deputy Communications Director for the New Patriotic Party, Jennifer Queen, who has said those who mocked the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, at the just ended Global Festival lack home training. And we spoke about this, obviously, and I disagree with them who say that the youth lack home training. It was just an avenue for them to vent their frustrations, and that's what they did.
I'm wondering, though, you know, Nancy Pelosi was also booed, right? I'm wondering whether in the United States, those who booed her also lacked home training. Like I said, I'm somewhere in the middle. I feel like I've made mention of, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't go to a function and boo, my president. There's something, and it's not necessarily home training. I would just restrain myself, unless it were something egregious. But I also feel you cannot take it away from people when they want to vent, because look, we were talking about this a short while ago. Sometimes when people, the reason they're allowed to demonstrate and the rest, if you don't allow them to do some of these things, they may keep up pent-up feelings, and it might explode in a way you don't want to see. Let the people express themselves. I feel that is what happened, genuinely. I've listened to you, I've listened to other people who were at the event, because I wasn't there, so I didn't want to give any prognosis. And I have watched videos of how the thing happened. This didn't look orchestrated. It didn't appear as though it had been planned. It appeared rather spontaneous. If the young people are upset, and like you see the thread on Twitter where people were saying, we're going here to drown our sorrows. We didn't want a reminder. That is how they felt. I don't see how you can, But let's bring in Doc.
Doc's reaction. Doc, I'm sure you've been following the news, and a lot of people are saying that, the MPP is saying that the fans who booed Akufo-Addo at the Global Citizen Festival lack home training. Your reactions to that?
Yeah, if you look at all that's happening, the issue of political culture. In political science, there's something we call political culture. What is it? Is the attitude of people towards political issues and political actors and political subjects. So actors like presidents, ministers, and all that. What are people's attitude towards them when there is something that they feel uncomfortable with? All right. What are the attitude towards political issues? All right. There are three types of them. We have what we call participant political culture, where people believe that, look, they matter in the state, and for that reason, if you are governing, you are not governing well, they have every reason to voice out and then express their grievances and all that. That is one aspect. Another aspect is that there are subject political officers. They are passive. They don't care a hoot about what happens. Once a while, they come and they go away. Then we have parochial political culture, where people believe that they don't even belong. For that reason, look, they don't care what happens, and all that. In every state, you have, a combination, or there is a admixture, if you like, of all these factors. There's no state where you can have one aspect of the political culture. You have all the three, but some are moderate, some are very high, some are least. All right. People have done research, and in America, it shows that you have participant political culture very high compared to the others. If you look at UK, it's a balance, all right, and then the rest of them. I am happy that Ghanaians are now having a taste of what political culture is. All right. Yes, and that is it's not about your training, it's about where you come from, and no. Let us remember that people pick these things from around the globe. You recall Mr. Trump, who was booed in a sports game when he attended and all that. Yes. So when you look at it, it tells you that, look, there is something that political elites need to do. One, you need to research into the society you find yourself, whether in your country, which of them, the three I've mentioned, is very strong. For which reason you want to work at. Which one is weak and which one is even moderate. If you are able to get your finger on these things, you are able to address the problem in a way. Because why do you usher the president into an area where mostly the people who are going to be there are in the youth, and where promises have been made that we will get this, we'll get this, we'll get that, all right? And these things are not forthcoming. You will see that pent-up feeling coming out there. Then it's a function of the inability of the security to pick the signal and tell Mr. President, no, the forum is not appropriate for you, isn't it? So these things.
So just to clarify, this was a failure on the part of the president's team in terms of picking intelligence and knowing where he should go at what time. It was a failure.
Yes. One. Another issue is the issue of research. The party has not done any research to know, attitudes of people towards some of these things, so that always you have a plan B or a solution. I always say that you need a political officer who knows the terrain very well, and all the time doing research to be able to help the presidency to address some of these things. I mean, people just get into office and they have no clue as to how to go about these things. Obviously, one area that is also explained this issue is the issue of economy and governance. If you look at choices that people make when they are selecting leaders, one of the variables, the first one, is the economy. So whenever there is a problem with the economy, all right, you see reactions in these forms, booing, demonstrations and whatnot. It gives a political signal, all right? So all the time, you must be able to address the economy so well so that you incur problems. Yesterday, I was listening to a professor from University of Ghana Business School, fantastic professor, looking at the options for us when we are going for this debt rescheduling and all that, the dangers, the cost and benefit, if you like. And I tell myself, I say, wow. My feeling is that, look, anytime you have a government which is not performing, the economies of this country
Oh, it appears we're losing Doc again. You know what? Because I wanted to find out from him. Again, when the ruling administration says these people were members of the opposition or people who are not in favor of the administration, it's been coming.
Yeah.
If you notice, there was a member of parliament who was, roughed up. Then after that, we had the majority leader, Oseiche Mensah Bonsu, in Swami, his own constituency, on the back of road issues. You know what they did to him? They literally drove him out, pelting his vehicle with sachet water and all of that. And it wouldn't be the first time. In fact, it's not restricted to this political administration. It has happened in the past.
Yeah.
So I am surprised that the tone is, they are booing because they are members of the opposition.
Yeah.
Because the NDC, at some point in time, people have been pelted, members of parliament have been booed and all of that. So I don't know whether it is a detachment from reality. But when we have Doc back, maybe we'll get into what he thinks about that.
Some
more stories?
What else do you have?
All right, so I'll focus on two more stories to wrap. The first one is Daily Guide. Lordina grabs cars cash from Nana. And I'll shed some thought on this. So amidst the recent whining by former President John Dramani Mahama that the state has neglected him by not paying his emoluments, his wife, former First Lady Lordina Mahama, has received 2 cars courtesy of the magnanimity of President Akufo-Addo. The president made available the 2 brand new vehicles, Toyota Land Cruiser V8 and Toyota Camry, for the comfort of the First Lady, all to be fueled by the state. The cars were delivered to her in August 2021, before Mahama's recent rants over his emoluments. And it goes on and talks about the fact that the former president had kicked against extending the same largesse to the current First Lady and the Second Lady, as contained in the Professor Ntiamwa Beidu committee report for Article 71, office holders. I think sometimes we ought to be, I want to season my words, because when we put certain things out there, people take them hook, line, and sinker. First of all, if the former president says this, there was a time when former President Kufuor had his own issues. He, in fact, started this entire thing based on that committee's report, the ex gratia and all of that, in terms of what we are seeing, the trend. Where he made complaints, was he whining then? The other presidents who did that, were they whining? And it is wrong, very wrong to put here magnanimity. It is not the magnanimity. The president doesn't have an option. I'm going to do it because I feel like it. It is per the law. It is what we have in there, what we've decided to go by. It's not because President Akufo-Addo wants to do it. That is not how it works. So this is misinformation, if you in a way, I mean. But finally, on the Ntiamwa Beidu committee report, it wasn't, yes, members of the opposition NDC, I agree, were also, they fed into it and said, why should we pay these sums to these people? It's not to say that when the First Lady and the Second Lady, though that doesn't exist in our Constitution, when they get out of office, at some point they will not get their packages. That is not what it says. This was a different issue. And it wasn't maybe the former president and the opposition doing this. It was ordinary Ghanaians who were concerned about how much was going to be paid. And these people, the First Lady, Rebecca Akufo-Addo, withdrew. So how do we now, you see, I read some stories sometimes, but anyway, it is what it is. The Ghanaian Times, Ghana bags $731.94 million in half year 2022. and speculation on Ghana's debt restructuring premature. If you have a story, you can come in with that before I do this final story on the IMF.
Do the final story.
Let's go to page 15 then. So let's do that. You know, the IMF has been in town.
Yeah.
Stéphane Roudet. So the International Monetary Fund has doused speculations that Ghana is poised to start talks on restructuring of its debt as part of plans to secure a $3 billion loan from the fund. According to the Bretton Woods Institution, the restructuring of Ghana's debt will be dependent on the outcome of its debt sustainability analysis, that is the DSA report. The IMF Director of Communications, Gary Rice, who disclosed this at a news conference in Washington, D.C., said the DSA reports would indicate whether there was the need for debt restructuring in the first place, and if necessary, how it should be carried out, as well as which areas would be affected. It's interesting because I've had conversations, the likes of Professor Bokpin, there's this one, I think, Sawyer, and others have shared their thoughts on this matter. The other day I spoke to Dr. Kasia Latoforsen, and a lot of them suggest we have to restructure our debt if we're going to keep our economy afloat. But now the IMF is seemingly throwing a spanner in the works that, hold on, it's not time yet.
Yeah.
Let's look at your debt sustainability. And from there, we'll determine whether you should even go down the road of. And all of this, you know what, it creates a lot of distortion. A lot of investors, business people will not be in the most comfortable place because you don't know where the economy is headed in the next few weeks, few months. Will we get the IMF program? What will this DSA reveal? It's a whole lot.
It's a whole lot.
A whole lot to digest.
Talking about a whole lot, Samuel boarded parts with Hearts of Oak.
Oh.
Yeah. And
The coach?
yeah, the coach.
He's gone?
Yeah.
Since when?
Since yesterday. And
Oh, wow.
Nabila will tell us all about it up next in sports.